So, who are they spying on? You call them spying programs. You see, people say they're spying on Americans. That is absolutely wrong. We're going after terrorists with those programs. And so the question is, it has been successful. Can somebody come up with a better way of doing it? That's the issue. We've not been able to come up with one, so we've been working with Congress and the courts, but that's the best we can do right now. We protect civil liberties and privacy, no content in the metadata program, and I think that's the right way to run it. You see, nobody's come forward with a better. It's like saying we know how, it's like when you were younger, well, this is for boys. When you're younger, you say, I don't want to take a bath. I say, well, no, I'd never take a bath. Why do you want to take a bath? Well, you got to take a bath, cleanliness, da, 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 da. I say, but isn't there a better way? Well, we don't, so we had to take baths, right, or showers. What about here? What's the better way to stop terrorists? Now, the other part is somebody says, well, shouldn't you have released all this data? I don't believe so. You see, if we could only give it to the good guys and tell them to keep it secret, then yeah, give it to all the good guys. The problem is the bad guys are amongst us. They will figure it out. This happened in 1998 after the East Africa embassy bombings. Somebody revealed publicly that the way we tracked bin Laden was through SATCOM communications. Within 2 days, we never saw bin Laden in communications again. My concern is the revealing of these programs allow terrorists to know the best weapons that we have against them. It will cause irreversible and significant damage, and it means that terrorists now have an upper edge in conducting attacks, probably in Europe and potentially in the United States, and our ability to stop them is reduced. And so when people die, those that are responsible for leaking it are the ones who should be held accountable. So anybody who's got a better idea, let's put it on the table. But to say stop ignores the lessons that we learned in 9/11, and that would be absurd. And I think then people should look at us and say, we're accountable because we failed the nation. We already knew it wouldn't work. And so we have a responsibility here. I liken this to holding a hornet's nest. Okay, so here we are, we're holding this hornet's nest. Now I would like to give it to somebody else and say, you protect the nation with this data set. Everybody's looking around and saying, I don't want to hold that. You hold it. But somebody's got to hold it for the good of the nation. And remember, the oversight and compliance we have here is better than any other program ensuring our civil liberties and privacy and that of our allies. We do it better than anybody else. So despite what the papers say in here, we do it better than anyone. And I think what's happened is the papers convolute these stories and they immediately say 70 million, think of this, we got one today about 70 million phone calls that are being intercepted in Paris over a 1-month time period. Think about that, 70 million phone calls. Now, I don't know how many phone calls you get a day, let's say 30. But let's say they're in a foreign language, because most French people speak French. Just putting that on the table. Just not a hard thing to follow, it's not complicated. So you'd need French linguists. And if you did 2 million French phone calls a day, listened to them, and tried to write them down, how many people would that take?
A few more than 2.
Yeah, a few more than 2. So, the average analyst might be able to do 1 every 15 minutes, 4 an hour times 8 is 32. Divide 32 into there, you're going to need about, a little bit less than 100,000 people just for France. And France is an ally. It's absurd. They get it wrong. It actually has nothing to do with collecting on France. But the reporters who got this see this data and quickly run to the wrong conclusion. And that's wrong. I'm concerned that what they're doing will do grave harm to our country and our allies. So we got to figure out how to fix that. I think it's wrong that newspaper reporters have all these documents, 50,000, whatever they have, and are selling them and giving them out as if these, it just doesn't make sense. We ought to come up with a way of stopping it. I don't know how to do that. That's more of the courts and the policymakers, but from my perspective, it's wrong. And to allow this to go on is wrong.